losing goes. So I think that when people come to me and they want like a detox diet or a weight loss diet, I always want to stress that diet's a misleading concept, because realistically, true weight or fat, which is what we actually want to be losing, loss, it only happens as a result of permanent lifestyle changes. So people who think that they're going to, lose those 10 pounds by doing their 7-day miracle whatever diet sort of thing, it might happen, but then you're probably going to rebound after that, and you might even be worse off. So you guys all have a picture of this on the sheet that I gave you, and I think this is a really important way to plan meals. Essentially, because I truly think that diet is the most important part for promoting health and weight loss and detox and that sort of thing, and making sure that you're getting adequate amounts of carbohydrates. Fiber is actually a carbohydrate. Protein, fat, and making sure that you're well hydrated, and avoiding food allergens, really important. I just want to put it out there that the 3 most common food allergens are wheat, dairy, and eggs. Almost 70 to 90% of the people in my practice are allergic to wheat, dairy, and eggs. I myself am allergic to wheat, dairy, and eggs. That's why I don't eat them. Okay, carbohydrates, probably the most important part of our diet, can comprise up to 60% of your daily caloric intake. Not that I encourage people to do calorie counting, but essentially what you want to be doing as far as your carbohydrate consumption is more fiber, less starch. So these foods over here are high in fiber. The things that are high in starch, we're talking about, actually bananas are really high in starch food, and breads and grains and things like that. So less grains if you want to lose weight, and more of those, vegetables and fruits. But especially vegetables. So another thing that I always tell people is eat the fruit, not the juice. Fruit juice is terrible for insulin spike. And what happens when I say insulin spike, what I mean is when we eat sugar, our pancreas releases insulin. If we're eating lots of sugar, our insulin really goes up high. And then if it really goes up high, then we really start to pack on pounds. It's because essentially our body is very good at converting carbohydrates into fat. That's what we don't want to do. So drinking juice with a meal sort of thing, not a good idea. Or like pop or something that's sweet like that, not good. So eat the fruit, not the juice. And emphasizing whole grains. So, Wonder Bread has no place in a detox diet. Neither does white rice. Neither do most grains, actually. But the ones that I really like and think have a place in detox diets, especially if they're organic, are quinoa, brown rice, and millet. Okay, so fiber. Doesn't that stir fry look good? So there's tons of fiber supplements out there. A really popular one is PGX. I think PGX is only okay. Best natural sources of fiber are oats, apples, psyllium, and flax. Hemp's a pretty good source too, actually. And the good thing about fiber, and most people aren't getting enough, it's actually one of the things, most of my patients are on fiber supplements for sure. Fiber makes you feel full longer. So I usually get people, if they're really wanting to lose weight, and it also helps with detox, I'll get to that in a minute, put some fiber, there's some fiber supplements that actually taste pretty decent, put them in with a little bit of water, down that before your meal, wait about 10 or 15 minutes, and then eat your food. And you'll notice that your portion size, your eyes will not be bigger than your stomach this time. You'll definitely take a lot less food because fiber will make you feel fuller, for sure. And then you won't have that feeling, how people joke about Chinese food where they eat it and then they're hungry again an hour later sort of thing. Yeah, it's because they're eating too many spring rolls and egg rolls and, sweet and sour pork and white rice. There's no fiber in that meal at all, virtually. And that's why they get so hungry again. And the other important part about fiber is that it actually binds toxic bile in the colon for elimination. So we detoxify through our colon and through urine. And in order to effectively detox with stool, you need fiber. No question about it. So I kind of want to just speed through this. So fiber is essentially nature's equivalent to skin brushing. So skin brushing is good for your skin. Fiber is really good for your intestines, and it's the same thing. This is a really unhealthy, toxic colon. Obviously, it's an artist's interpretation sort of thing, but it's not what it really looks like. But as you can see, there's lots of bacteria and parasites and molds, and these molds are giving off toxins because there's all of this poop that's stuck, and you're not adequately absorbing your nutrients because it can't get through all that crap. So this is healthier, and what's happening here is that the healthier bugs are actually helping us to absorb and assimilate our food, and the fiber is helping to scrub the colon, and everybody's happy and good, and there's good bacteria in there, and everything's being kept clean, and it's a well-oiled machine. Constipation, if you're constipated, it's almost impossible for you to detox, so you need to definitely do some fiber supplementing and probably some more water and that sort of thing too. Protein. As a general rule, increase your source of vegetable protein, because vegetable protein also has lots of fiber. For instance, legumes and nuts are extremely high in fiber. They're also very good sources of protein. Most people aren't eating enough legumes. Most people aren't eating enough any of these. So legumes, nuts, seeds, and grains. These ones here that I listed are all the highest protein ones in their category. So definitely emphasize those in your diet. If you're going to be eating non-veg sources, emphasize organic, free-range, and small fish. Large predatory fish are extremely toxic because they've been eating all the little fish, and they essentially live longer because they're at the top of the food chain, and they have more time to accumulate toxins and stuff like that in their fatty tissues. Emphasizing free-range and organic is a really good idea, and that's because organic stuff isn't sprayed with all kinds of pesticides and hormones and all that crap that we talked about earlier. And free range because it makes the animals feel better. So dietary fats are extremely important, and it's really important to know that eating fats will not make you fat, with the exception of fried foods. So if you're going to be eating fats, make sure they're good fats like flax oil or coconut oil. And essentially you want to be eating more omega fatty acids and raw, unprocessed sources of vegetable oils like flax. Actually, soy is a pretty reasonable source of fats, and I would encourage you to not eat any soy that isn't organic, non-GMO. Walnuts, hemp, chia, algae, and coconut are all good sources of vegetable fats. The good non-veg sources are cold water fish and krill, and some wild game and organic meat. Try to reduce the amount of red meat. Okay, hydration is something that is often overlooked. Ideally, you want to hydrate yourself before a meal, because it's going to help. For whatever reason, our bodies often get a lot of signals confused. People think they're having a sweet craving, so they reach for the candy bar. Really, you should be reaching for something like an apple. People think that they're hungry. Really, sometimes they just need to be drinking some water. So I always encourage people to drink water and herbal teas, and avoiding stimulants such as coffee, which spikes our cortisol, causing us to gain more adipose fat around the middle, and other sources of caffeine like colas and other empty calorie drinks like juice and that sort of thing. Avoiding food allergens. These are the top 6 right here. I don't really need to say any more about that. If you're allergic to them, they're causing inflammation. It's bad. Did everybody see the top 6? Dairy, wheat, eggs, and then the next big 3 are shellfish, soy, and corn. As a general rule, I think I put some general dietary guidelines on those sheets that everybody has. Small frequent meals are the best, so that your insulin doesn't spike and then you're not just storing fat like crazy. I eat anywhere from 4 to 6 meals a day, and they're usually really small. Sometimes they're big too. Don't skip breakfast. People think that they're doing themselves a favor. Oh, I'm going to lose so much weight by skipping breakfast. No, you're not. You're starving yourself, and then when you eat your next meal, which is usually twice as big as having any one single meal, you're not doing yourself any favors. You're just insulin spiking like crazy, and then you're storing it all as fat. And it's important to emphasize fiber, protein, and fat. Those are the 3 most important components for making you feel full and slowing down those hunger cravings. Avoiding starches for best results, basically. And these are the usual suspects for starches. So these are my favorite detox-friendly foods. You'll notice there's no animal products on there. That's because I don't eat them. I'm not saying there's not a place for them in your diet. This is just what I would recommend. And among them, I think that broccoli, cabbage, and other things from the brassica family are amazing sources for detox. Amazing foods for detox. And then leafy greens in general, like dandelion greens, cilantro, things like that, excellent. And also chlorella, which is algae. Most people aren't eating enough algae. Algae is a really good source of iodine. Really helps to promote healthy thyroid function. And yeah, green tea. Green tea is a good one.